μας, γεια σας. Είναι η τρίτη συνεχής χρονιά που η Σουάμι Νίτια Μουκτανάντα Σαρασβάτη έρχεται στην Ελλάδα καλεσμένη από τον οργανισμό Φωτεινος Καφε Σχολειο. Είναι η αγαπημένη μας Σουάμι Νίτια, έτσι την αποκαλούμε όλοι όσοι συναντιόμαστε μαζί της κάθε χρόνο, και τα μέλη που λαμβάνουν μέρος στα σεμινάρια ή στα εργαστήριά της την αναζητούν με πολύ αγάπη. Το θέμα που θα δουλέψουμε αυτή τη φορά, όταν έρθει, το 3 μέρες Παρασκευή, Σάββατο και Κυριακή 2, 3 και 4 Μαΐου, είναι διαλογισμός, θεωρία και πράξη. Είναι από τα πολύ βασικά σεμινάρια και γι' αυτό πιστεύουμε ότι θα ήταν καλό να το παρακολουθήσουμε όλοι μας. Πιάνει τα πράγματα από την αρχή, αλλά βεβαίως είναι και για όσους έχουν ήδη κάνει διαλογισμό και όλοι βοηθάμε στο να υπάρχει ένα δυνατό ενεργειακό πεδίο. Γιατί είναι τόσο σημαντικός ο διαλογισμός και γιατί το επέλεξε η Σουάμι Νίτια, βλέποντας βεβαίως και τις ανάγκες της ομάδας. Ο διαλογισμός, η συγκέντρωση στον εαυτό μας, αυτές τις λίγες ώρες που βρισκόμαστε σε ησυχία, με μία στάση του σώματος η οποία διευκολύνει στην λειτουργία όλων των εσωτερικών οργάνων, κυρίως δε της αναπνοής. Είμαστε λοιπόν σε σιωπή εκείνη την ώρα και είμαστε εμείς και εμείς. Συναντιόμαστε με τον εαυτό μας, συναντιόμαστε με τον εσωτερικό μας εαυτό, με τον ανώτερο μας εαυτό, με τον πνευματικό μας εαυτό, όπως θέλει ο καθένας το ονομάζει. Και σε τι μας βοηθάει αυτό, γιατί το κάνουμε. Καταρχήν μας βοηθάει στην καθημερινή μας ζωή. Μπορούμε να συγκεντρωθούμε πιο καλά. Δυναμώνει η μνήμη. Ηρεμούν οι συγκρούσεις οι εσωτερικές, άρα και οι εξωτερικές. Αυξάνεται η δημιουργικότητά μας. Γίνεται θεραπεία. Είναι τόσες πολλές οι εφαρμογές. Και γι' αυτό είναι καλό να ασκηθούμε όλοι στο διαλογισμό. Θα ακολουθήσει ένα σύντομο βιντεάκι με παλιότερη ομιλία της Σουάμι Νίτια, που και με αυτόν τον τρόπο ίσως την γνωρίσετε καλύτερα. Αν θέλετε βεβαίως και βιογραφικό της, αν δείτε στο site μας υπάρχει ένα λεπτομερές βιογραφικό. Είναι μια γυναίκα τεράστιας μόρφωσης και τεράστιας καλοσύνης και αγάπης.
In the yogic understanding, and I must say it is very, very closely related today in how physical science, biology, medicine and so on think about how the thinking part of mind, the processing plant that we call brain, works. Right? This is the lowest level. We talked earlier about the body having a part which is a physical manifestation of other layers. So the thinking part, the working part of the brain, is the lowest part, the most manifest, easy to understand, however you would phrase it, part of that which we call mind. Okay? So how does that mind, in that first aspect of manas, work? And looking at that already gives amazing insights in ourselves. My famous briefcase, glass case. look at this, you see a glass case. Whatever the Greek word for it, you know that it is a glass case. All right? You see a glass case. Now, delete. You know, on the computer, when we press delete, because you don't see a glass case. What you see is light reflected of an object. That's what you see. Seeing is connected to the eyes. The eyes are mere lenses. Please raise your hand when one of these words, which are all technical words you don't understand, okay? Lenses. Right? The eyes are mere lenses. So what you actually see is the light reflected of an object. If you turn off the light here, or we would look at it at night or in the dark, there would be nothing for you to see, even though I hold the glass case up. Okay? So what you see is not the object. What you see never is what's really there, never is the object. What you see always is only the light reflected in the lenses through your eyes. Okay. Second step. Behind the lenses of your eye are various nerve points. I won't go too details, but just various nerve points. So the light that is reflected into your eyes is registered as a certain pattern of light dots. You with me? This pattern of light dots get fractured, separated, like if a kid would throw a puzzle on the floor into all sorts of various bits. And the very combination of the light dots go to various parts of our brain. So those combination of light dots that are linked to what we call form go to the spatial part of our brain where the space is. Hold it there. The color goes to the back of our brain where colors and sight is processed. If this would make a noise, the sound of the object would go to yet a different part of our brain where sound is processed. Okay? So what we see is fractured in different parts. Then each part is processed in a certain part of our brain. And how is it processed? It is compared to something that is already stored in the brain. So something that is already processed in the brain, something we call memory files. Now when I see the case, the different information about shape, color, if I see an object, the different color, shape and so on is put to various parts of the brain, compared there with something I've seen before, because when I was small I was given an orange and somebody told me, like my mother, that this color is called orange. Okay? That goes with everything, with the shape and with everything. Now, all this different kind of information gets reassembled in my brain into a picture. And that reassembled puzzle picture then gets sent to two areas, the Broca and the Wernicke area in our brain, and a label put on it in respect to what we've seen before. then it is processed in the speech area and it's turned into thought or speech after it's been labeled. Okay. Now this might sound, okay, I understand process. But see the implications of this process. First thing, you never see what is there. You only see what your mind interprets due to your past memory that is there. Right? If you never have seen a pineapple, you think that pineapple is a fern, a plant. And this is true, because one of the most famous stories about this is that when Columbus arrived in the Caribbean, the natives were standing on the shore, but they did not see the ship, they did not see them land, because their brain had no mechanism of interpreting what they saw. Because never ever before have they seen a big ship land like that, so it's just a big wave, a shadow, or something else they have seen before. So what we understand, no matter in what area, whether it is in people relationship, in relationship to society, whether it is in relationship to ourselves, is always determined what is being put in the memory bank, or the filing cabinet as I call it, on our brain before. Now one more thought. It is compared to something that is stored there before. It is compared. Remember how I described the information of these light dots. It's like a code, or like a binary system, if you want to say so, and the brain decodes that binary system. It takes time. It's shuffled from here. Does it fit here? No. Does it fit here? Does it fit here? Does it fit there? Oh, it fits there. It's a color. So the brain is constantly active to interpret the interpretation, to find a niche, a file in the filing cabinet where it matches others that have been there before. This process takes time. What is the implication of that? Whatever we do, whatever we understand, is linked to the past. Can you see it? So and so many seconds, and one can say it exactly, it's 60 something or other, but not 60 seconds, 60 milliseconds or something like that. And we all know that it is like that. Because you imagine a book falling off the shelf. You see it falling, but by the time the brain has processed it and you stretch out your hand, it has already landed on the floor. Although you saw it the minute it was falling off the shelf. Because your brain has to process that first. So on a philosophical level, on an understanding ourselves in the world level, it means we always live in the past. We always live in the past. Everything we see, every understand, has to go through this process, and there is a delay of understanding. But not only that, the understanding that we finally get is dependent on what is stored in our filing cabinet. We cannot understand what we haven't understood before. Like, I cannot tell you anything new. You have no way of understanding what I'm talking about it unless you have come across similar words, similar concepts. So I can go on because you know anyway. You understand? Yeah. The implications of that. Your filing cabinet is different from somebody else's filing cabinet. So what somebody else understands by the same words is different than what you understand by the same words. That is where misunderstandings come. He says to her, I love you, darling. And he thinks, I really need somebody to cook for me, you know, and have a good time with in bed. She thinks I've all my life wanted somebody to understand me, to really love me, to share my interests. She says, I love you. She understands when he says I love you, that I want somebody to share my life and my ideas with. He understands I love you as, okay, I'll cook for you and have sex with you. Can you see the picture I'm trying to be? Even right down to relationships, we use the same words, think we understand what's in the other person's mind, but what is in the other person's mind is something different from what is in our mind. And unless there is enough of a relationship built up to understand, or love cultural identity or whatever it is, to understand that you use that word love or that word hate or that word glass case in the same way as I use. Otherwise there's no possibility of that person to understand. It's not a fault of the person. There's no judgment in that. They cannot understand because they have different files in their cabinet. So stop judging people. That was a bombshell, wasn't it?